Nobody knows what a tuffet is. Go ahead, look it up. In any dictionary, any encyclopedia. A low stool, a grassy mound, a kind of food like the curds and whey. Nobody agrees. It isn't that the word is lost, it's that it describes something with no name in any language built for people who've never sat on one. The ones who don't disagree about what it is. They just can't say it. It takes a vocabulary of wrongness that ordinary language was never built to carry. Every cartographer who's tried to map certain parts of the British Isles meets the same anomaly. Spots that don't register right. The measurements come out wrong. Only fractions, only inches, but always the same fraction, always the same direction, as if something is deflecting the instrument. Birds avoid them. Not dramatically. They simply don't land there. They route around them the way water routes around stone. Instincts that learned across millions of years. Not that spot. There's an old Irish word for these places written down before the island had a church. It means roughly where the worlds are touching. Not overlapping, touching. Two surfaces pressed at a single point. The membrane between them thin and taut, and not quite holding. She found one. She didn't know. Nobody told her. No map, no record, no warning, except the rhyme. And the rhyme doesn't always work. Her name was Eleanor. Not Miss Muffet. That's only what she became. The way everyone in these stories becomes the thing that happened to them instead of who they were before. A farmer's daughter, 8 or 9. England, the early 1500s. A time that didn't record the lives of farmers' daughters. Unless something happened to them worth recording. Something happened to Eleanor. There are 4 accounts, 4 people, 4 different decades, all from Eleanor's own testimony and the witnesses in the field that day. They agree on 3 things. Something came. It was not a spider. She ran. Where they disagree is what the something was. One says, a darkness that rose up from beneath the ground and had too many parts. Another, a presence of great size and great age, waiting there since before the field was cleared, regarding the child with the attention of a thing that has not eaten in a very long time. The 4th account, the most detailed, came from Eleanor herself, an old woman by then. It was not large the way things are large, she said. It was large the way a thought can be large, too big for the space it fills, pressing on the inside of the world. It had eyes the way old wells have eyes, not for seeing, for being seen into. And when I looked into them, she said, I saw what it had been doing there in all the years before I sat down. Every one who sat before me, who fed it just by their warmth, their stillness, their being alive, pressing the membrane thinner each time. I was not the first. I was not meant to be the last. Eleanor ran, she survived. She lived to be an old woman. What the rhyme never tells you is what surviving cost her. She never sat still again, not as a figure of speech, literally. For 60 years, she did not sit. Not in chairs, not on benches, not on the ground. She ate standing. She worked standing. She slept, leaning in a frame that took her weight without letting it settle. Because standing was not settling, and settling was the signal and the stillness that tells the thing in the ground, come. There is something here. It has stopped moving. Come quickly. Dr. Helen Marsh, a folklorist in Edinburgh, has spent 15 years on convergent protective folklore. The same warning rising in cultures that never met, in different tongues, about the same thing. The Muffet regime has cousins in Welsh, in Gaelic, in Scandinavian traditions. Different names, different creatures, the same shape every time. A person, a place of rest. Something arrives. Flight, always flight. The subject always runs, except in one version. A manuscript from a monastery in Northern Ireland, late 12th century. Old Irish, so hard it took 3 specialists to read. In this version, the person didn't run. They sat still, and the thing came close and found what it had been waiting for. The verse ends there. The one sitting at the start of it was not, by the end, the same as the one who sat down. Eleanor stood for 60 years, until the night she died, in 1571, when she finally could not stand, and sat down in a chair for the first time since she was a child. The clerk writing it down stopped there, mid-sentence. The abruptness of someone who found the next words and chose not to write them. The spots are still there, all of them, everywhere the English language went and the rhyme went with it. They look like perfectly ordinary grassy mounds, and something in them is still waiting, with the patience of a thing that's existed since before there were people to warn, for someone to sit, to stop moving. So don't sit where the birds don't land. Don't sit somewhere that feels, for no reason you can name, like somewhere you shouldn't be. And if you do sit and feel just for a moment perfectly content, stand up. Stand up immediately. And whatever you do, don't look at what's beside you.